I think this sums up a lot about Portland. This is the container for trash. It's collected every 2 weeks, and as you can see, it's not really that big. This is the recycling container, which is collected every week, which is much bigger. And this is the composting container, which is collected also every week, and as you can see, is even bigger. And just to make it easier to compost, the city gives you this nice container. We put it right in the kitchen. And when I'm cooking, I put food scraps right in there. Paper towels are compostable too, eggshells, coffee grounds, and that all goes out into the big green container once a week. Compare that with living in Texas, where you threw away as much trash as you possibly could every week. We used to fill up at least this much of a container with trash every week, and now we just fill this up every other week, and the rest is recycling or compost. And I don't want this to turn into, oh, Portland is good and Texas is bad. Although for the record, Portland is really good and Texas is really bad. To be fair, cities like Dallas did eventually come around to offering curbside recycling, although that took longer than you would have expected for a city as big as Dallas is. Even the big cities took steps that I would classify as placebo environmentalism, where you do just enough that you don't feel bad about the wasteful lifestyle you're pursuing. And I'll give you an example. When I lived in Dallas, the tap water in Dallas is not good at all. And I used to drink bottled water, and I'd drink these plastic bottles, 16-ounce bottles of water, and go through just a ton of them in a week, and huge amount of waste. And I felt bad about it. And then Dallas started curbside recycling, so I could recycle these plastic bottles, and I was excited, and I felt okay about it again. And later, I found out more about what actually goes into recycling and how much good it really does. And I realized recycling that huge amount of plastic bottles was not really doing any good for the environment on a net basis. It was sort of as if I were clubbing a baby seal, but then taking it out for a nice meal afterward. It was about the same total level of environmental consciousness. And I'm sure a lot of what Portland does is not as good as it could be, and we could think more about it and do better, but there's a lot more thought behind resource management, behind things like waste management. There's some indication that someone had some thought beyond, oh, just throw stuff away. This actually reminds me of a few years ago when I decided the world was probably doomed. Not to be too dramatic, but it was a very small thing, but it really did make me stop and think. And this was when Sun Chips came out with a compostable bag. The bag was all compostable materials, so it didn't have to be thrown away. It could be composted. And I don't like Sun Chips. My son does. I don't really care for them, but I went out and bought the bag because I was very excited. I thought this was a really good initiative. I thought, oh, this is going to catch on. Other people are going to do this. This is a great way to minimize the waste. And I think a few months later or a few weeks later, Sun Chips had to discontinue the compostable bag because people were complaining that the bags were too loud. I mean, let that roll around in your head just for a minute, that here's an environmentally sustainable, positive development, but the bag is too loud. It is too much trouble for me when I am shoving my paws into a bag of chips to stuff them in my face. It makes a little too much noise, and I can't hear The Bachelor. So forget it. Earth is just going to have to take the hit here. Just let that roll around in your head for a second. That here's an initiative that could do a little bit to make things more sustainable, more environmentally friendly, but we can't have it because while I'm shoving my paws into this bag to then shove chips into my face, it's too loud and I can't hear Deal or No Deal. That's the problem. The Earth is just going to have to suck it up because I don't want to pour my chips into a bowl before I eat them. That is too much delay in my snack time. And the reason it depressed me, although it's not in itself the biggest thing in the world, is that I really think that we are facing environmental challenges that will require all of the ingenuity and intelligence and foresight that we can muster. And we're flunking the pass-fail portion of the test. We are flunking the very easy stuff. There are some real and expensive and difficult things we're going to have to do, some choices we're going to have to make as a society, as a species, to make sure that the Earth continues to be habitable. And I don't think we're anywhere near ready for that challenge. And I'm not sure that we're going to have as much time as we need to get beyond the state we're in now, which is more attached to quiet snacking than to sustainability. And I don't think Portland has all the answers, but they're asking the right questions and they're thinking about it, which is a good place to start.